Yo, it's week 2, gentlemen, ladies and
Know
gentlemen.
what time it is.
Oh my gosh. I'll just get this out of the way, even though our guest tonight's probably going to bring it up and make a jab because he's a State fan. But at least our Lions pulled out the win on Sunday to get that taste out of our mouths.
So, yes, sir.
But hey, that was a solid win. I don't care how you do it. If you get the win and get the win.
Yes. Um, you know, I'm just glad we won. You
Mhm.
know, that was the biggest thing I had. The biggest issue I had was so many people talking trash, so many people saying, the Rams revenge game, Stafford's coming back home to dominate, but we came through with the dub.
Yeah, we did.
So I'm happy. Want to
So
know, just like we predicted in our
exactly.
predictions, want to know down.
Exactly. Now, I hope you're wrong about your this week's prediction,
Oh
but
yeah,
hey,
oh yeah. This the big week. This the big week this week.
but hey, before we forget, this is the Sammie and Slim Show. We are your hosts. My name is Slim.
My name is Sammie.
We are Sammie and Slim. We hope you guys enjoy. Hey, we've got something brewing the last couple days, social media, talking to somebody or people, and we were trying to think who who do we bring in?
What do we bring into our to the greatness, to our great show?
And so we're about to bring him in now. He's connecting, and we've got joining us tonight,
Yes, sir.
Coach
Yeah,
Ryan Krombeen.
In the building, in the
up, boy?
flesh.
He had to give you some intro.
Yeah,
Yes, we had to give you some hype. Had to get you. Had to give you a little theme music. You know what I'm saying? So
appreciate that.
Hey, I told Sam before we got you on, Coach, that I was trying to remember back to our car rides to away games and stuff, and what song did we hear the most where you just went absolutely ham on the way to there to games?
Probably a lot of them.
There was a lot, yes.
I'm trying to think. You were probably the end of the time when we played Every Time We Touch.
I heard it, I think like my first year.
Yep.
A little bit.
What song is that?
Because every time I touch, I
I
get.
get this feeling.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
I'm not judging. All right,
That,
okay.
that was the team chose it after one of our wins one time, so we always just started playing it.
And
Wow.
Sam, I
Very
think
special.
it was, I think, my second year playing. So my junior year or whatever, we go to Dearborn.
Yep.
He tells us, hey, you can pick whatever song you want. We've got my speaker. We all
Yep.
pick Mo Bamba for whatever reason.
Yep.
Mo Bamba is always a banger. Mo
Yep.
Bamba is always a banger, especially after a win. That's definitely a banger. Yes.
Turned the season around. It was great.
No, everyone had a great game that night.
Yep.
But hey, for those that don't know who this guy is, this is the one, the only Coach Ryan Krombeen joining us on the show tonight. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Getting excited for this Thursday night game coming up in a couple minutes. And riding off the high of a Lions win, was hoping to get the Tigers win today too, but we'll take 1 for 2.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, Sam and I are the same way. We want 1 for 2 this weekend, and we won't say much after that.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Sam, what are some of your takeaways from this weekend's game? We'll kind of just piggyback back and forth, all three of us here.
For sure. I say I have 2 things. I would say the first thing I say is grit, right? So that last drive, we all seen the overtime dub, where David Montgomery shoved it down their throats. You know what I'm saying? We pounded the ball all the way down to the end zone, finished the game on strong, and I feel like that really, showed our true colors of grit and who we are as a team now. Because seeing during the game, we struggled a little bit. A couple almost interceptions by Golf, couple bad decisions on the offensive end, but towards the end, we got the job done, and that was that. And the second thing I say, biggest thing I say, is just our improvement on defense. Now, I understand our DBs, corners, guys, we have depth now, which is great. We got Terrion, we got, Charles. So we got, whole new set of guys. But I feel like throughout these next couple of weeks and throughout the season, I feel like we're going to definitely, expand and definitely get better as the season goes on. Because we had a few mistakes. It's going to happen week one, right? But I feel like
Right.
eventually towards when it gets closer to, playoff time, we're going to clean up those mistakes. So,
And I
big,
think so. I think
biggest
so
key
too
takeaway.
there. I mean, it is the first week. Some of these guys just haven't played, and it is what it is. So you got to get the kinks and get the rust out and stuff like that. But you're 100% correct. One of my biggest, I mean, I've got a couple more, but one of my biggest, takeaways that stands out is the defense. I mean,
Oh,
we were getting pressure on Stafford. Don't
mhm.
get me wrong, but it wasn't enough. I mean, regardless of any calls that did go or didn't go our way, it doesn't matter. Stafford was still able to, and I'm looking at his stats. Stafford still went 34 for 49 and threw for 317 yards. That's a
Mhm.
problem. I
Yeah,
mean,
but the
we
thing
got the
was
win,
with Stafford,
but
the win was the biggest thing. But the biggest thing I seen with Stafford is he knew that his offensive line was banged up from the
mhm.
jump. So he knew he couldn't throw the deep balls. He couldn't throw the balls he really wanted to. He had to do the quick check downs, quick slants, Cooper Cup out quick. He was getting the ball in his hands quick.
Mhm.
So he played it smart. He played his job, but the dub. So
All right, coach, what do you got?
what you
Well,
got, Coach?
said he threw 49 passes. If he needs that much to get over 300 yards, I mean,
That's a point.
that you're doing all right. Um,
Yeah.
they had, like you said, they got the ball out quickly every time, and you got Arnold going against Cooper Cup in his first game. That's never going to be an easy matchup. But for the
No.
most part, he held his own. One bad pass interference, one questionable one. But I mean, first game, I'm okay with how he played. Davis, I thought looked good in the defensive backfield, and coming up this week, having Davis knowing everything that Tampa Bay does is always a great thing too. And then my other big thing is, I mean, Jameson Williams. It's
Mm-hmm.
we've been waiting two plus years for, and to have him have that breakout game and to show that okay, Laporta and St. Brown may not have their best games, and we're still capable of winning because that's how many options we have offensively.
Exactly.
So that those were the biggest things to me. You need Sewell and Davenport to be healthy. I
Mhm.
know they're banged up. There's a real chance they play this week, but those are two important pieces because you want to build from the lines inside out, and that's what the Lions have done. And so you got to be healthy there.
Right. No, I completely agree. And that's something Sam and I talked about last week is, that was one of my season predictions. Like Jameson Williams has to be the X factor. They can't just be Amon-Ra St. Brown. It can't just be Sam Laporta. Two
Mhm.
stud receivers in their own right, in their own positions, but like you can't just rely on one, two guys to get the job done. And like you had just said too, is being able to have that enough of depth, to take the pressure off of two guys who just might have a bad night, and it is what it is. But to be able to have somebody step up the way he did in clutch moments, that's going to help out in the long run.
Yep.
I think. Um, I mean, and as far as Sewell and Davenport, same thing. I'm looking forward to, and I haven't heard anything different. I'm looking forward to Reader getting some looks this week if he gets
That's what I'm ready to
activated.
see. That's what I'm ready to see. Man, I've heard so much hype about DJ Reader this offseason, saying he's a run stopper and this and that.
Mhm.
Man, if we have him Hutch on the outside, McNeil,
Yep.
I mean, yeah, the sky's the limit.
Mhm.
And also Davenport, like Coach said, have Davenport back healthy. That's gonna be huge. So yeah,
Yep.
definitely.
All right, Sam, who all really, other than the guys that we just kind of mentioned, who do you kind of stood out this week? Like both sides of the ball. It's this, doesn't matter offense, defense, it's both sides of the ball.
Man, I would say for one on the offensive end, I say our offensive line showed up pretty well. I think Jared Goff only got sacked once, and he got rushed like I forgot the stat. I seen it on Twitter, but
Mm-hmm.
he didn't get rushed that much, so I'll give him that. I say our offensive line throughout the whole game played pretty down, but like towards the end, and I'm still stuck on the drive because that drive was legendary. Like that's one of those drives where it's like it's just grown man football. I push you. You're not going to stop me. And we're going to score. We're going to run this ball and score you. And that was just one of those drives like, okay, these guys are serious. So I say offense is the offensive line. And defensively, I mean, Alex Anazoli, the first like couple plays, got some big hits, and just I think he had some crazy like 12 tackles or something. 11
13,
tackles, 13. They had 13 tackles, like
10
just off
solo.
the gate, just showing his veteran leadership and just what he brings to that
Mhm.
team. I just say him. Just him.
Yep.
In my
And I got some big, kind of stats that stood out. Like we had just talked about. Anzalone went off 13 tackles, 10 solos, three TFLs. Carlton Davis had 10 tackles,
opinion.
6 solo. Terry and Arnold, 8 tackles. All of them were solos.
Mhm.
Brian Branch, 7 tackles, one for loss. And Jack Campbell, these guys are spreading the wealth, man. Like we've got depth, which is something that as much as it pains me to say it, just something that we have lacked as a team, or this team has lacked over the years. And now we've got the right pieces in play, pieces of the puzzle in play here to where, we can make a run. And I think if this is any indication of how this season's going to go, when things aren't in our favor and we still figure out a way to pull it out and pull out the win, I'm sorry, watch out.
I'm telling you.
Yep.
All
My,
right, how about you, coach? Talk to us,
my
coach. Get you
yeah,
go.
well, I was going to say Anzalone too. Branch missed 2 tackles right away, but I mean, he's fine. You saw him halfway through the game. He was back to Brian Branch, so I'm not concerned about that. The one thing I'd love to see is, and it's the NFL, it's never going to be easy, but when you get a 17-3 lead, to be able to step on their throat in that next defensive possession, and if you get that stop, the game's basically over. You're midway through the third quarter, you have the ball up 2 scores, you got a chance to put it away. But I'd love to see them be able to get that stop, get their offense right back off the field. And Stafford, I mean, we've watched Stafford for what, 14 years, something like that.
Mhm.
He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. There's no doubt about it. So he's not easy to stop, but man, you'd love to see that. But overall, Chris, you said about depth. Like we always used to have to worry about, okay, who's going to start at these positions. Now in the preseason, all you're talking about who's our second string that can help us if we get injured. Okay, that's where we're at. That we've never been at, and since I was 6, it was the last time the Lions had won a playoff game. So it's been a long time since I've been able to enjoy that.
Mm-hmm. And you and I it's crazy to still think of how close you and I are in age. So yeah, I remember that still. Last time they won even something or it came remotely close to winning a game like that.
Yep. Yep.
But
That's crazy.
yeah, let's look at next week. Move right into it. We got week 2, the Bucs. Coach, I'm just gonna say it now. Sam's going against us. I hate to say it. I hate to go against my guy Sam here, but I
That's
mean,
the advantage is they've got a depleted secondary right now, which is crazy. In week 2, they already have a depleted position, and so
Yes.
that's our biggest advantage. But I mean, Baker Mayfield looked great last week. He had what, 4 touchdowns?
What
yeah, I have
is
his stats up actually. Um,
pull him up, Slim. Pull him up.
4.
And listen, just for the record, I am not a Baker Mayfield fan. I, I watch him do college, watch him do NFL. I'm not a fan of his game, but I just know that, you know, he wants his revenge, man. He wants his revenge from last year. If you see the performance last week, he was cooking.
Yep.
I was gonna
Like I,
say
I haven't seen that type of Baker since last year. Well, I mean, obviously since last year, but I haven't seen that type of Baker in a while. And now him
mhm.
coming back to Fort Field, I don't know. I
it,
think this is a game that we slip up and get the loss. But
and like you had kind of said last week too, Sam, is he's like certain players flourish in specific situations. It
that's
could
the thing.
be, if Patrick Mahomes doesn't have Andy Reid, he's still good, but he's not as good. But you put him with Andy Reid, look what happened. You gotta
Uh,
certain
that's
players.
debatable.
Yeah,
Debatable.
that's why I
But,
said it
but
like
I'll
loosely.
let you finish. Go ahead.
But like you get where I'm kind of going there. Like
I know
certain
what you're saying.
players,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You understand. I get what you're saying.
But and so Baker Mayfield's flourishing in Tampa. He's got the right pieces in play. He's got teammates around him, this coaching staff, the higher ups, the organization, like people that actually are, excuse me, like rallying around him and
Mhm.
trust and believe in him. Like I'm looking at his stats, 24 for 30. He only missed 6 passes. threw for 289 yards, 4 touchdowns, like Coach said, with a rating of a 146.4. That he went off, and it doesn't matter if it's Washington or any other team, doesn't matter, but like we said, any team can have an off night, and whoever you think might be bad might, throw a wrench in your plans or whatever, but that don't matter. Baker Mayfield still had a game, like we've been saying, and
Doesn't hurt when you have two wideouts that apparently don't age at all because Mike Evans and Godwin are still doing it every week.
as I say, looking at those stats, Mike Evans went 5 for 61 yards, averaged 12 yards a catch, 2 touchdowns, and then Chris Godwin 8 catches for 83 yards and 1 touchdown.
Yep.
Like, come on. And those guys, like you had said, those guys have found the fountain of youth.
Yep.
Which I'm not complaining because I have them on my fantasy team. Sorry, but yeah, no. Looking at it here, what are some keys to the Bucs this game, week 2, to come out with that win? What do you guys think?
I'll let you go first, Coach. What you think? Talk to us.
Yeah, you have to be able to throw the ball. We all know we can run the ball. I don't think that's ever going to be an issue. You have to be able to throw the ball, and you have to be able to get pressure defensively. Iffy in the playoffs last year had those sacks coming off the blitz, and he's doubtful again. But if you're able to get that pressure and consistently harass Baker Mayfield, that's when he'll make mistakes. But you have to contain him at the same time because he's a pretty mobile quarterback. And I remember watching that game last year, and we'd called one too many blitzes. It was like 3rd and goal at the 15 or something. And then they called that screenplay to Tampa Bay to score a touchdown to get back within one possession. And they recognized that, okay, we're blitzing on most 3rd downs. They're going to call that screenplay, and they were able to score. So blitz, but be careful with it at the same time.
Sam, what do you got?
I like that. I would just like to piggyback off Coach. I would say for sure passing the ball, making sure it aired it out because of their depleted secondary. The secondary is bad right now, down in bad shape. So I feel like we'll have plenty of times to get good looks down the field. J-Mo, St. Brown, the usual. But just as long as we can limit Baker, as long as we can, like you said, blitzing, making them uncomfortable, making them throw it quick, just like we did against Stafford this week. But the difference is Baker has a healthy O-line, right? So I say the biggest, thing we need to do is just rush, make them uncomfortable, make them throw the ball quick, and then I feel like we'll be fine. But it's always that feeling. I don't know, with Baker Mayfield, I look at this feeling like he just thrives in these situations where he knows it's time to come back to Detroit, time to take advantage of another game. And it's like, I don't know. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. I don't want to keep talking to make it to the jinx actually happen, but hopefully I'm wrong.
I really hope you're wrong.
He finally gets to play in a system for a 2nd straight year.
Mm-hmm.
So he just gets that much more comfortable too.
Yep. No, exactly. He's in the right spot for him to flourish and actually do what he was predicted and projected to do once he got out of college. No, you both have said it, and I'm just gonna piggyback. We've got to spread the wealth. It can't just be run dominant. It can't just be pass dominant. Yeah, we've said it. Their secondary's depleted, and we should be able to air the ball like crazy. Especially with the that quick first step of St. Brown and even J-Mo. Even if he's open and gets enough Khalif Raymond, it maybe, but like we've got enough depth, like we've talked about. These guys are very quick off the ball, and especially if they try to play, right up in your face, put one-on-one pressure instead of backing off, 5 yards. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to beat them deep. But yeah, we just got to keep them guessing, spread the wealth. Can't just do the same thing over and over. Now, I preface that with, if a team can't stop something, you best believe Dan Campbell's going to keep doing the same thing over and over. And like he did in that overtime drive, shove it down your throat and make like, hey, we're here. Try to stop it, but just be able to spread the wealth, stay healthy, like we've talked about. like I kind of mentioned too, I don't see anything that says he won't, but I'm looking for DJ Reader to come out hungry in this first game as a Lion. And if you can get DJ Reader to complement Davenport and Hutch, you've got three nasty dudes coming at you or coming through that line that you got to worry about and try to contain. So I don't know. That's just me. That's kind of my point. So
Okay, so here's a question for all of us.
okay.
So, what are your week 2 game score prediction? What's the
Mm.
score for the Lions and the Bucs, and who will be the MVP for the game? Because I usually do a little Pepsi MVP thing. So, who do you think the MVP is, and who do you think the final score will be? I'm gonna let
Ooh.
Coach go first. I'm gonna let Coach. I feel like he got some cooking. Thinking.
I'm going to go 31-23. I think we're going to score plenty of points.
Ooh,
Uh,
okay.
I personally picture it as Tampa Bay getting a late touchdown to make it within 8. So I think they're going to win pretty convincingly. Um, St. Brown's gonna be back to St. Brown this week. That's who it's gonna be, because their linebackers are good, but he's gonna be able to find holes. If they want to cover him with a linebacker, there's no chance. So if the plays cover him that way, great. So I think there's no way they're going to be able to stop him, and he won't be taken down 2 weeks in a row. Otherwise, he's going to be like, man, people are going to look at him as like, oh, now he's gotten that paycheck. Maybe he's not going to play as hard, but no, not worried about that at all. I think he's going to have a great game. I think Davis is going to have a pick some point as well against his old team. That's going to be great.
Now, how about
Mm.
this? Who do you think he guards one-on-one? Is it going to be Evans or Godwin?
That's a great question. My guess is it switches. If he stays the boundary corner or whatever he might be, but I guess he'll start out on Evans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I can see him switching it up, between the two, like you said. You probably see a mix of Carlton Davis and maybe even Terry and Arnold, or even I'd say more so Brian Branch. Switching between those two, kind of
Hey,
spreading that.
can we make sure that if we punt one inside the 5, we don't boot it 10 yards out of the end zone?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, for real.
All right. Um. Oof. The Lions win. I think it's also going to be a close game. I mean, I agree with Sam to an extent that, Baker especially is going to come in and the rest of the team's going to come in hungry, try to get that revenge after last year. That was a good game, regardless, um, and whatnot. But yeah, I do think they're going to come in a little hungrier than what people expect. I can see this being a one-score game too. I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way. I think we'll get that, Tampa Bay will get that late touchdown in the end to try and bring it within a score or even tie it. And then we just let Matthew geez, I feel really dumb.
The man still
There
on
you
the
go.
hangover, huh?
Hey, I wish he would have won something in Detroit, but props to him for getting a Super Bowl finally that he deserves. But no, I can see it both ways to where Tampa Bay brings it within one or ties it at the end, and then we see Jared Goff lead the game-winning drive, or even we've got Jake Bates going in and kicking a winning field goal too. I can kind of see all three of those scenarios play out. But as far as a score goes, ooh, 27-20. I don't know why those numbers are popping out, but that's what sticks out to
Okay.
me right there.
Okay.
27-20.
Okay.
Be that's what I'm thinking. It's going to be it's not going to be a high scoring game. I
Mhm.
think that I think it's going to be within one, and we'll see what happens. I think the Lions come out with a win.
Well, hate to be the bearer of bad news, man, but I think Anchor is coming for his revenge game. He doesn't have anything to. He's just coming out this game. I feel like I just have a feeling. Final score: Buccaneers 34, Lions 31. I feel like it'll
Mm,
be a high scoring game from the jump. I think it's going to go back and forth throughout the whole game. But I feel like towards the end, it'll be the last possession will be with the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield is going to make a march down the field, and they either score or hit a field goal to finish the game off. I hope I'm
Okay.
wrong, but I just feel like Baker is coming in there with revenge in all, and standing on team, all business.
I
That's
I
how I feel.
really hope you're wrong, and I
I
can.
hope I'm wrong too. I'm still with my boys.
But
Always.
why not? Since we got a couple more minutes, because I know Sam's got to get going here in about 10. And I don't want to keep you up either, Coach, or we don't. Two more things. The week after, we're at Arizona, first away game. Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr. Who do you think wins that one? Quick prediction.
I mean, they didn't look bad against the Bills. So it's a tough choice. If Kyler Murray had seen Marvin Harrison wide open down the field in that last drive, they probably would have won that game. So, I mean, I personally, it could be a toss up. I don't think they're a bad team at all and playing on the road for the first time. But I also think a lot of Lions fans will travel down there. So I don't think it'll be as much of an advantage as you think.
No, and that's one thing that has changed and something I don't remember as long as like we were saying about those playoff wins earlier. That's something I haven't seen in a long time, or if that ever within or before the last few years. So like, especially with the pieces in the organization that we've got, Brad Holmes, my gosh, has been a villain in
Yep.
his own right. I don't, there's no other way to look at it. He has said, I'm here, we're gonna make some noise, and he's made the necessary moves where as geez, I don't even want to talk about some of the GMs and coaches that we've had. Patricia, here, Lord Almighty.
Matt Millen.
Oh, Marty Morningweg.
Yeah.
Oh, duh.
That Millen, that was nasty. That just got me a little trigger right there. But yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
The first loss I see because they have to prove they can win against them is home against the Seahawks for the third year in a row.
Thank you. Okay,
we
that's
talk
what I'm
about
talking
this, Sam.
Yes,
I want to win it so bad, but you got to prove it to me that you can beat Geno Smith in your own stadium.
And that's
Geno
the thing.
Smith in Ford Field has been looking like prime Mike Vick every time. Every time I watch them play the Lions, he looks like they can't stop him.
Nope. And that's the thing. I told Sam this last week too, Coach. Like I remember it was last season or the year before, whatever it was, where my family took me to a Lions game for my birthday, and it happened to be that Seattle game. I may or may not have been partaking in, gentlemen beverages, but I'm standing there screaming, just like, why are we making Geno Smith look like a god right now? Like he's good, but he's not that good.
Well, they a good running back too. I'm trying to remember what he did in college against your guys.
I don't want to talk about that. Let's not remember that.
See, Coach going left. This is a Lions network. This
isn't
this.
I still have bad memories of that game. I was at that game at Spartan Stadium.
Yeah, he was torturing. No,
I was so happy that game too, and then the second half, and I did not talk to my wife the entire ride home. That's how ticked off I was.
That's funny.
But hey, it is what it is. But hey,
I got to head out though in a second. So
all right, you're good. Hey, last question. This is not going to be football related. We'll make this quick here. I've said it time and time again. This Coach Krombeen is now the varsity coach at Grace. Our alma mater. There was no other person in my mind that was better for that job to take over for Coach Bailey. Respect.
No question. No question.
All right, guys.
So what I'm just looking, what are your predictions? What's the outlook for this upcoming season? Because you guys are starting quick.
We're starting brand new too. We lost 10 of our 16 players from last year.
Ooh.
Yeah, we got 7, but it's fun because our two rivals, both got everybody back basically, and so we're not expected to do anything. So we'll take that hunter role instead of the hunted this year, and we'll run with it.
Uh-oh.
Like that.
Demon Krombeen.
Beat Aquinas for the first time ever.
Ooh.
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know about ever. I feel like pretty sure back in the day y'all beat us.
No. Even when I played, when we had our best teams, we lost twice to Aquinas. We beat Ferris, Calvin Hope, Cornerstone, but we couldn't beat Aquinas.
AQ gang. Shout out the dogs. Ooh. Well, okay, respect it.
But
Okay.
yeah, what you thinking? What's the rest of the season look like as far as like just your wins, losses, your record?
We play a tough schedule. We got 6 Division teams this year. We go play 2 out in Hawaii, which is going to be,
Mm,
It's gonna be fun.
I mean,
you finally got that trip.
got it. Yeah, we've raised a whole lot of money for it. We worked real hard, so we're excited for it. But what we're looking for is getting better every day because we 11 of our first 12 are on the road. So who knows how we start, but continue building throughout the season.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm excited to watch that. And, it's going to feel weird. And I'm not going to lie, I might be wearing Grace, but I might be wearing a Northwood shirt when you guys come up to Midland.
That's okay. I
But
forgive you already.
hey, I'm getting that second degree. But no, that's going to be a fun game. And I still remember that game last year. That was down to the wire. You guys
What?
made it tough and interesting.
Yep.
And I loved it. But hey, that's all we got for this week. Coach, as always, it is a
Appreciate
pleasure.
you, man. Thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. And congrats on your marriage too. That's awesome. I've been able to see all the pictures. I could not be happy for you, man.
Appreciate you so much,
I
man.
saw
Air a G for me too.
Oh yeah, appreciate you, man. I appreciate you for everything, too, coach. You've been really inspirational to me. I don't think you realize that, but you've really been like a big, huge influence on my basketball stuff too. Like
Uh,
in college and, hearing you talk and give me advice, man. You've been real since day one.
um,
So I
I,
appreciate you.
I'm glad you appreciate it. I'm truly in this to help build guys towards God and build towards a better life.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
that's one thing I've always said about him too. It doesn't matter, who you are. You could be the top dog on the roster, you could be the bottom dog, but he's gonna care about every single one of his guys, or it doesn't matter who, if it's his guys or somebody other or some other team. Does not matter. He cares about everybody just the same.
Yeah, yes, that's for sure.
It's been,
Definitely.
guys, I appreciate it a lot. This was fun.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
we'll look to get you back on
Hope to have
here at some point.
All right.
you back on soon too.
You just
All right, you got it.
all right,
You
All right,
guys.
got
coach.
it.
Thanks. See ya.
See ya.